So this video is about making a design for a t-shirt. Some of the things you want to keep in mind is to keep it simple. If it's for a school function, I always suggest to keep the colors solid. That makes the printing of the shirt a little cheaper, and schools are always all about saving money, right? So I've created this design in Illustrator, but let's say that I want to fill in this little space right here. Well, I might come up with some problems because all of these pieces are already filled, but I still have this really ugly piece right here. I could make some things happen, but let's say that I want to do something specific to it that would be easier to do in Photoshop. I would just go over to Photoshop and go File, Open, and open up your project. You'll come up with this, and you want to crop to media box so that it will fill the whole screen. You'll notice that it did not do anything for the background. That's because in your Illustrator it does not have a background. There's no shirt color here. If you want to have a shirt color, then I would get on a lower layer and select a color that you want to use. Let's see how an orange would look. Create a box about so big. And there we have the shirt color, which would be this color. I don't like that. I'm gonna make it a little bit more bright. That's a bit better. And if you wanted to add more artboards and try a few different things, you can still do that. But back to our Photoshop, there is no color here because when I opened it, it didn't have a color. So here, this checkered here is telling me that there's no color on it at all. If you want more color, add a layer, put it on the back, and in here you can just paint bucket any color you would like. This time let's try, well, why not? Let's try a purple. And there you have that color combination. Now let's say that I've created this here, but I want to move it into Illustrator, pretending that I created all of this here, but I wanted to use the text functions in Illustrator because it's easier to add text in Illustrator. It's just easier to work with. So I would go to Illustrator, get rid of that, and open. And there it is. The whole thing comes in with the layers that you had originally. So all of these texts were in one layer, all of these flowers were in another layer, and this background was in another layer. So I've got all of that here, and then I also had layers in other places, and all of that is there too. So that is something to keep in mind. If you have something with several layers, they're going to show up in Illustrator just in a little bit different way. And here is your layers, and you'll see all of the layers that I had in Photoshop. They show up in Illustrator as well. So that makes things a little bit more versatile with what you're working with. So when you're creating your t-shirts, you can go back and forth from Illustrator to Photoshop in a very easy manner.